Good to be with you today. We're continuing in servant leadership as we find in the book of Mark, chapter 9 and chapter 10. We see how Jesus is very specifically honing in on a particular advocated leadership style. And he talks about greatness, and he talks about if you want to be the number one in the kingdom. And he comes with this strange paradox saying if you want to be number one in the kingdom, you've got to be last. And if you want to be great in the kingdom, then you have to be a servant of all. Now, we're looking at different qualities of these leaders. I want to share with you a quality today that I think is totally foundational for servant leadership to be based upon. And it is a foundation of trust. Trust. When you have trust, you have a strong foundation. And everything else that you want to build into your leadership will be based upon this one thing of trust and integrity. Now, when you look at what trust looks like, I believe that it's not only the foundation of what servant leadership looks like, but it's also the scoreboard. You can measure the success of your organization. You can measure the success of your ministry or your leadership by looking at the scoreboard to say, how many people really trust me? Or are they cynical about me? Or do they say, yeah, right, well, and they give you the 45-degree angle look as if to say, can we really trust you? Now, trust is only established over time. It doesn't happen overnight. It's not something you demand. It's something that you earn the right to have. Now, trust is built upon two things. First of all, I believe that trust is built upon stated intent. You've got to state your intentions for yourself as the leader, for the people that you lead, for the organization that you represent, for the church that you serve. There has to be a stated intent. And then alongside that stated intent, there has to be a measure of consistency. I think people will go to a certain extent to follow, recognizing the humanity of human beings, that we never totally get it right all of the time. But there has to be a high degree of stated intent and consistency in our leadership for trust to be established. And Jesus speaks in chapter 10, verse 45. So he says that even the Son of Man did not come to be served, but to serve. Jesus is stating his intent. As strange as it would have been for those people to hear those words, that I've come, even as the King, as the Messiah, I have come to serve. And the disciples are in the back of their minds saying, man, if he is our Messiah, if he is our King, then the great suggestion is that we have to imitate him. And so Jesus' stated intent, I'm sure, was in plenty of words, but his actions stated very clearly his intention. And then I love the consistency of Jesus. You see, there he is on the Mount of Transfiguration, Moses and Elijah there, and Jesus is transfigured before his few disciples, and they see him as in his supernatural state. They see him as the Son of God. They see him as the desired Messiah. And that is the one sight of Jesus, is there he is, high and lifted up. And then the next few weeks later, there they are sitting at a meal with Jesus, and he's washing their feet. And the guys are saying, is this the same Jesus? Is this the same one who was very clearly the Messiah, the Son of God, the one transfigured upon the mountain, the one of whom voice we heard, listen to him, this is my son. And here he is washing his disciples' feet. So consistent, whether it be on the Mount of Transfiguration, he's still the servant leader. There he is on his knees with a towel around his waist and a bowl and a towel, and he's washing his disciples' feet. In highs and lows, Jesus stated his intention to be the servant leader, but he followed up with an absolute high degree of consistency. Now, I don't know if you can identify me, but over the course of my life, I have worked for people who love the idea of servant leadership one day, and then they love the idea of lording it over you the next. And it has led to a state of real confusion to say, which one am I going to get today? Am I going to get the servant leader leading me? Or am I going to get the kingship leader, the one lording it over me leader? And it leads us to an incredible state of confusion and, at worst, the loss of trust. People lose, when they lose trust, they will lose hope. And there are a lot of hopeless organizations out there. I wonder, just wonder, if it's not because maybe they've lost trust in the leader. A servant leader will extenuate and accentuate trust as being his foundation. You can trust him through the highs and the lows. You can see his consistency in all of these things. It's trust that leads to a hopeful organization. Disciples trusted Jesus. And even though they didn't understand, even though they didn't kind of get it all the time as to what Jesus was saying, they knew that he was who he was because they trusted him. Now, if that's Jesus, maybe we need to do the same thing. Let's make sure our people understand it. I'm sure they're not looking for perfection, but they are looking for a higher standard of trustfulness, being seen in a statement of intent and in your ability to be consistent. Think about that today. Have a fantastic day, people. We'll see you soon. Bye.